Welcome back to Blackthornprod. I'm Noah. Edmund Macmillan, the creator of Super Meat Boy, The Binding of Isaac, and The End is Nigh, once said in an interview, as creative people, we need to remember we are creative. Be creative with how you inspire yourself. Be creative with how your workday goes and how you regard yourself. My major motivator is that I designed in a creative way. Not just the things that I'm working on, but the way I'm working on them. And I realized that a huge majority of the time, I've not really been doing that. I make creative things like these videos and games, but the way I work on them is pretty unoriginal and uncreative. I just sit down in front of my PC and, depending on how I feel, work for 1 to 4 hours straight. I always work at around the same time of day, at the same place, and with the same tools. I want to make fun, interesting, weird games and videos, so can I have a more fun, interesting, and weird time creating them? Can I make each game dev day unique and more memorable? Basically, could it be possible to try and turn the act of making games into a sort of game itself, with fun rules, constraints, and extra challenges involved? The answer is of course yes. Sunday morning, I came up with a long list of new, creative ways to work, starting with working at night. After about 9 PM, Unity is usually switched off, and I'm having fun playing games, relaxing with the family, or watching a movie. I decided to challenge myself Sunday night and see if working while everyone else around me slept would boost my creativity, maybe even productivity, and make the whole game dev experience more interesting, fresh, and enjoyable. So while lesser devs work on games during the day, I, mighty Blackthornprod, worked hungrily at night, the moonlight empowering me, the stars pushing me forward, making me code and draw 10 times faster than usual, the quiet of the night giving me ideas so brilliant and ingenious, Einstein himself would pale and bend the knee. Just kidding, but the experience was nonetheless unique, so let's dive into it. Sunday, I woke up at 8 in the morning, had my weird idea, and so slept in the afternoon to prepare for my nighttime adventure. At 5 PM, I began working on the Dreadful Whispers, making a simple to-do list of all the things I would like to have done by 5 AM in the morning. The first task on my list was adding lots of sound effects to the new levels I'd added to my game the past week. So do some voice acting for new NPC characters, add sounds to crumbling blocks, make dramatic sounds for the game's second ending, and more. In case you're wondering, I use Audacity and a Blue Yeti microphone to make sound effects. I actually have a whole tutorial on the topic which you can check out. About 2 hours later, so at 8 PM, it was dinner time, so glad I could rest my voice from making weird, silly sounds. I ate, and then at 9 o'clock, with the sky gradually darkening and the roads growing more quiet, I finished making sound effects. This past week, I've been happily adding lots of secret scenes and Easter eggs to the Dreadful Whispers. It was a joy putting a little something from some of my favourite games into my own game worlds, like Celeste and Super Meat Boy. But I wasn't done with secrets. From 9:30 to 11 PM, I worked on another secret scene. A crescent moon was glowing in the dark now. I would usually go to bed at this time, that's what my brother did. Instead, I felt like taking some outdoor air, so I went outside a bit and enjoyed the fresh, quiet nighttime atmosphere. Then at 11:30 PM, I began work on something I had been avoiding and procrastinating on for quite some time, and that's playtest the whole game and try and spot and fix lots of little bugs. At that point in the night, I felt very productive and focused. That's before my eyelids began to eventually grow heavy, and I realized I'd been staring at the screen not doing anything for 5 minutes straight. So I figured I'd been working for a few hours in a row and was in need for a break, so from midnight to 1 o'clock in the morning, I played Enter the Gungeon. Then I went outside again and walked around the village. It's important to stretch your legs after all. It was such a unique, weird experience, walking these empty streets, usually so full of life and noise. Then from 1:15 to 3 in the morning, I continued my bug fixing and polishing journey. Couchbird Makes Games, a really cool game developer and fellow YouTuber, had playtested the game a few weeks ago and given me some incredibly in-depth feedback of things he thought needed fixing or changed. So I went through the list, using his feedback to better the Dreadful Whispers. Still lots to do, but I'm getting there, bit by bit. And it's weird, I realized I'd been working since 10 PM without checking social media, like Twitter or YouTube, not even once. Because the world around me was fast asleep, I felt like the entire world, even the internet world, had gone asleep. And so there was no point logging into Discord or Twitter to check my messages, everyone was asleep. Not the case of course, but with my strange nighttime mindset, that's what I was unconsciously feeling. As a result, I was a lot more focused and productive. The realization that I could also be sleeping in a comfortable bed, having sweet dreams, but was instead sitting in front of my computer, made me hungrier to work. I couldn't possibly procrastinate, I was up to make games. If not, I might just as well go to bed. I started to lose concentration at around 3:30 in the morning. Little programming bugs I knew could be fixed in a matter of minutes made my head hurt. I'd definitely not slept enough and didn't have any coffee to help me out. So at 4:30 AM, knowing there was no real point in staying up any longer, I went to bed and fell into a deep sleep. So working in the middle of the night isn't something I'll do again anytime soon, but I'm glad I tried. It was a unique experience and I think I'm on my way to learning how to work more creatively. Again, I felt less distracted, more calm, and the quiet of the night helped me think. For anyone wanting to make a horror game or a world full of mystery and atmosphere, working at night can also be a great source of inspiration. You don't need to work until 4 in the morning, but perhaps until 10 or 11. The village was a bit scary at night too. I thought about walking in the forest alone with a torch at some points, but lost my nerve. The fear of the unknown, that inky darkness in the woods and the little noises usually ignored during the day are rendered freaky at night. Go out at night, write down how scared you feel, and use that experience to make your horror game more spooky. I have many more ideas for crazy, creative ways to work, and I'm eager to try them out and share my experience. If you're feeling a bit bored or demotivated, or just want to try something fun and new like me, try and figure out ways you can add an unusual twist to the way you work. Not to say having a nice, predictable, peaceful routine is bad, but I think it's good to change things up from time to time to spice up life. Here's also a thank you to my Patreon supporters who help me out financially every month. You guys are amazing. And a shout out to all the cool artists having made fan art of the Dreadful Whispers and posting it on the Blackthornprod Discord server. Can't show it all here, but all the fan art ends up in the final game. Stay tuned, cheers!